Hello friends, welcome back to Kimpins. What's spookier than murder? That's right, we're back with Hunt a Killer. I don't know, so there's a dead mayor. That's all.
Like a politician or a horse?
Candidate. I think candidate. There was, I think Ferdinand. I don't know, it's been a minute since I read that letter. So, welcome back to Kimpins. If you don't know what we do here, I do crafts and we do unboxings. I do unboxings. Jordan's here for our Hunt a Killer episodes. Co-detective, detective's back in action, Detective Kim, Detective Jordan, getting it done. All right, let's, jump right in. This is our first episode of this season, so let's see what we need to do today. So we don't get mixed up with stuff, I've got pens, and I brought back our handy dandy Mallory Rock notebook in case we need to take notes.
Little bobblehead. That is adorable.
Bobblehead. Ooh, buttons. Campaign buttons. Reminder with, we got, this is some codes back here with some notes on it up front. We have another notebook, with some notes in it and blank page. Oh, there's lots of notes in here. Okay, we've got a letter with some annotations on it. An obituary. Okay. Looks like petition, a harassment. Something harassment related with the courts. We've got an article here. Battle for mayor. Some dudes. Oh, this must be TFC. And Harry. We got TFC and Harry. Those are our candidates. Oh, and we got another map. This season, we won't be hanging up our map because we've got advertisements on the back that might come in handy later. It says, to complete this episode, examine all documents, check the Keep Safe Pro app for additional evidence, and begin a timeline. Okay, and on the website we've been provided with this season, there is Ashley's blog and some screenshots this episode.
So Ashley Mendoza turned up dead in the restroom of the public library in Copper Cliffs, Arizona.
Okay, Ashley Mendoza is dead.
The police haven't made any progress investigating her death. I was working with Ashley on something she said was going to be really big, and now that she's gone, I want to look into her case myself. I worked as an IT specialist for the mayor of Copper Cliffs, Thomas Ford Cross, and on the side it says strong speaker, total liar.
Who hired us?
We've been hired by Franny Rollins.
And who, do we know who Ashley is to her?
Her dear friend. Yeah, so Franny Rollins is hiring us. We still don't know who wrote all this stuff on this note, though. So apparently Thomas Ford Cross is running he's in the middle of his re-election campaign against Harold Richards. TFC is running on a pro-environment, pro-local business platform. Harold Richards is running on the platform that TFC is terrible at his job.
Oh.
Which whoever wrote in Sharpie on this says fact. It took me less than 2 months of working for TFC's campaign to realize that he has no plans to follow through on all these big promises that I was naive enough to believe during his first race. I want to expose TFC for what he's done. This town deserves better than what TFC can give. That's why I started working with Ashley. So apparently this person and Ashley Mendoza were really passionate and righteous, and they were trying to expose TFC. She was more than just a press contact. She had become my friend. She was working on something big related to the election, but it was too early in the process for her to reveal more. She also didn't want to put anyone in any kind of danger, especially me or her sibling, so she has a sibling. I believe Ashley got too close to some truth. I want to find out what happened to Ashley, and I need you to help me. So far, I found at least one avenue that we can use to collect some evidence: Judith Richards. Judith is the head of Harold's campaign security. She's a retired cop with plenty of close friends still in the force, and she did not like Ashley. I would bet my pinky finger that Judith's got access to dirt on Ashley's murder. She's also very power hungry and very entitled. They want us to get into Judith's email account so they can dig around for any communication she's had with her cop buddies.
Okay, so this episode we're trying to get into Judith's email. Okay.
This bobblehead is really cute. Y'all need to get on this stuff if you're not already for the little trinkets at least.
Okay, so this blue reminder thing, which has some handwriting on it, which matches the letter from, so the letter's from Franny, who hired us, but all the annotations on it, we don't know. But this is for TFC campaign accounts. So this can't be Judith because she works for her husband.
Right.
Maybe this is just, I mean, what are these password tips? Choose events or people that are important. That's a terrible password hint. Use a combination of words. Okay, that one's a good one. Try to embed the chosen combination of words with corresponding numbers or symbols instead of characters. Yeah, that's a good tip as well. Make the password long, add a pin if needed. Don't reuse passwords, don't write passwords down, change passwords regularly. Well, yeah, those are all good. So I guess just their first tip is terrible. Oh, this notebook is from Ashley. So this notebook is from Ashley, and there's a note inside. Ashley accidentally left this notebook behind the last time we met up in person. I'd been meaning to give it back to her, but she was killed before I got the chance. I mean, she's doing great on her to-do list, honestly.
Ooh, and Ashley Mendoza petitioned her harassment charge against Judith Richards.
Yeah.
Multiple instances here. The first instance was a comment Miss Richards wrote on my professional blog about 2 months ago. This is all from Ashley Mendoza's perspective. I'm a journalist, and in a comment on one of my articles, she mentioned she would take drastic measures against me. Number 2, the next instance took place a month ago on the street outside Mendoza's Flowers. And when I left the store, I found Mrs. Richards outside waiting for me. She demanded I remove the story she had previously commented on, and when I refused, she stated that she did not want to escalate the situation, but that I was making a lack of escalation difficult for her. I then re-entered Mendoza's Flowers and waited for her to leave, which took 45 minutes. And then the most recent occurrence occurred about an hour ago. Mrs. Richards charged toward me and nearly hit me on the street outside the Copper Cliffs Country Club while shouting insulting names at me. A member of Harold Richards' security team had to stop her from hitting me. There have been no prior cases. So it looks like Mendoza came in there after 3 things and was like, you know what, I've had enough. Mrs. Richards has access to firearms and many years of experience using them. It is well within her ability to physically harm me, and as of our last 2 interactions, I believe that it may be her intention to further physically escalate the situation.
So there are a bunch of leads in Ashley's notebook. There's a note that says, what's the truth behind the CCCC? There is also a reference to... So there's a note, the fake, Harold Richards, Harry Richards, millionaire socialite, doesn't speak much about his relation to the crash, now running for mayor, son of a wealthy, well-respected doctor. Super. Well, we'll keep that, hopefully for future episodes. Judith Richards kind of looks like Juliana Margulies. Not a bad woman to look like. The password hint for Judith's password. So they took a screenshot of like trying to get in there and get it.
What do we have on
So
here?
it's children plus symbols plus work years plus home.
So, born and raised on a 5-minute walk down from the old copper mine headquarters, Harry Richards, a local boy, through and through. Although Harry and his wife Judith have 2 beautiful children of their own, the lovely Harriet and the ever rambunctious Jude. Oh my God. So Harry and Judith have
Harriet
and Jude. Since being introduced by their fathers at a charity event and falling in love years ago, the couple has embraced the unity, community, and fondness that the town emanates. Okay, so 2 kids.
In loving memory of Ashley Marie Mendoza. Ashley Marie Mendoza, a lifetime resident of Copper Cliffs, was taken from us before her time this past Wednesday night. A kind and caring soul from the moment she was born, Ashley spent most of her childhood helping her parents run their business, Mendoza Flowers. As a child of a florist, Ashley made sure that the apartment she shared with her siblings was always blossoming with life, making a special point of raising as many asters as possible. In her career as a journalist, Ashley was admired for her boldness, her determination, her passion, and her strong sense of civic duty. She was always hungry for the next story and never backed down from a challenge when she felt as though the truth had to be known. Ashley is survived by her parents, Imelda and Raul, and her sibling, Reggie. The Mendoza family requests that anyone who wishes to pay respects to Ashley prior to the official funeral service plant an aster, Ashley and her siblings' favorite flower, in her honor. A private family service will be held for Ashley next Tuesday at St. Barbara's Catholic Church. A formal funeral will be scheduled and announced at a later date. So we don't know any sort of timeline right now.
No. So I'm pretty sure, I doubt that Judith Richards would have anything in her password related to TFC. So I'm just going to comb through here. So the challenger, Harold Richards. Harold Richards' initial surge of support in the polls comes from his ability to come across as a down-to-earth family man and average Joe. While Richards has no previous political experience and none of his campaign materials list any concrete plans for the town beyond replacing Cross as mayor, the citizens of Copper Cliffs don't seem to mind. Yeah, Ashley wrote this. Richards is a staple of parties, barbecues, and get-togethers throughout the town, making him not only well-known, but quite popular. He's the quintessential candidate you'd like to have a beer with. Even though his decade-long sobriety, so he's been sober for 10 years, has made him into a self-described craft soda guy, Richards' personality seems to appeal to many voters, particularly those who already feel turned off by Mayor Cross's so-called snobby and elitist persona. Cross's lack of leadership has been a cornerstone of the Richards campaign. Turn on your television and local channels are almost guaranteed to be running the pro-Richards advertisement that describes Cross as a trust fund baby with no follow-through for his own ideas. This is a rather ironic stance considering that Richards has never had any real job. Instead, Richards lives off the profits from several early medical device patents owned by his family. Richards is also known to have funded several unsuccessful businesses in town. In fact, it was at the site of one of Richards' latest financial failures, the defunct Davies Diner, a 70-year-strong institution in Copper's Cliffs that he announced his candidacy. Richards purchased the diner from original owner David "Davy" Jones just a year ago, bankrupting it at an unbelievable pace and hosting several fundraising events each month to keep it running. Former employees of Davy's Diner say Richards seemed to hold no interest in actually running a restaurant and apparently bought it to please his dad.
Well, according to Ashley Mendoza's blog, Harry fathered a child outside of his marriage. Dun dun dun! I don't know. So we're looking for symbols for Judith. How many years she worked in home. I don't know what home means, but...
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Even though it's easy to see Richards and Cross as political enemies on opposite sides of the spectrum, both candidates have a staggering amount in common. They were both raised in the upscale Paris Green section of town, and both still reside there today. The Richards and Cross families were close enough to vacation together when the men were mere boys. Even in high school, Richards and Cross were teammates in the debate team. They even had friendly tennis matches at the Copper Cliffs Country Club. At some point, however, the friendship between Cross and Richards soured. Richards himself provided the following statement about their strained relationship. 10 years ago, I was a mess. I'll spare you the gory details, but it's hard to imagine a less functional alcoholic than my younger self. After taking lots of time to reflect, I realized just how shallow my connection with Thomas really was. I realized that people like him live such a charmed existence that they don't know what it's like to be a real person, and communities need to be run by real people. I've spent the past 9 years focusing on my marriage and my family, becoming a real person. Now I'm ready to take the next step and help run my community.
Oh, Judith's address is 13 Yellow Hyacinth Avenue, Copper Cliffs. So maybe home is Hyacinth?
So we have to figure out this woman's password, and if she's also using symbols and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So one of Ashley's blog posts is that Harold has a child outside of his marriage. Oh, okay. So it also says in this article about his extramarital affair child. It says, as many of you know, deaths of Isabel King and Morgana Wilkes inspired many citizens to reevaluate their alcohol consumption, but none like Richards. So I think that's the crash she's referring to in the notes here, maybe. When he left town the year after the tragic Copper Cliffs car crash, that could be our CCCC, he checked himself into a private rehab facility in Toronto called Renewed Directions, the rehab where he met another patient named Beatrice Porter. So I guess they were married at the time. Over the past 9 years, flight records prove that Richards traveled to Toronto 2 to 4 times a year for a few days at a time. Porter's own social media posts at this time show that Richards was staying at her home during these periods. Sloppy. Last year, Porter gave birth to a son named Harold Porter. Oh my God. Even though there's no father officially listed on his birth certificate, I have seen a series of texts that show a romantic relationship between Richards and Porter and can confirm that he is the father of the child. This comes as a shock considering that Richards claims to be the ideal family man for his campaign, and yet he has a love child that he's been keeping secret. I think it's important for voters to get an idea of who the real Richards is, a man pretending to represent family values when he's really running a campaign full of lies. Judith comments on that, of course. My husband and I will not stand for this unacceptable, crass, yellow journalism. Publishing this information, which is patently false, only showcases the type of journalist you actually are. You're not showing any evidence to your ludicrous claims because you don't have any, and you don't have any because there isn't any to find. You will take this down this instant, or you will force me to take drastic measures against you. Which is, I mean, fair. In reading the article, like if you're gonna go for something like that, you have to post some of your evidence with it. Like if you're not ready to do that, then you're not ready to post it.
Right.
This is the weird comment section, because the next comment from Lori Monroe: bless your heart, Judith, you poor thing you, but I'd conduct myself with a bit more elegance and decency. After leaving the force so abruptly, you'd think you would have learned by now. Then Rick Cobb: Judith's got 11 years on the force under her belt. I might listen if I were you. ... Very ominous. Lucy: why does something like this matter? Well, we should focus on candidates' policies and qualifications, not their personal lives. Tom Rubin: I don't disagree in general, Lucy, but I'd say that a candidate being a commiserate liar and a hypocrite should be taken into consideration. Hayden: LMAO. Judith: final comment. Harold is the most honest and forthcoming man in Copper Cliffs. Once he is mayor, he will see to it that your reporting ceases immediately. You will never publish another article within our town again.
Because you will be murdered.
Well, okay, so we know she's got 2 kids, Harriet and Jude, 11 years on the force. I feel like the ending of the password is like 1113. Like, how long is this password gonna be? Harriet, Jude.
Symbols?
Look at I wonder if there's any comments on this one. Okay, I feel like this one is maybe just background stuff. I'm trying to be laser focused on Judith here. Okay, unexpected addition to the Richards campaign. Who is Louis Vanzetti? Okay, so I think this is somewhere. Ashley mentioned that an ex-con on the campaign didn't have as much of an impact as she thought it would. So this looks very much like a mugshot, so I'm assuming it's about this guy. Oh, okay, so Louis Vanzetti was the man responsible for the decade-old local tragedy known as the Copper Cliffs car crash. Vanzetti was not born in Copper Cliffs. His association with the town came through his friendship with Harold Richards. So, the crash. In a drive home from a charity date auction at the Copper Cliffs Country Clubs with Richards, the 24-year-old intoxicated Vanzetti accidentally drove his car directly into a roadside pine tree, instantly killing his backseat passengers, young socialites Isabel King and Morgana Wilkes. Vanzetti was arrested on 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter and 1 for driving while intoxicated. He pled guilty to all 3 counts without putting up much of a legal defense. Richards served as a character witness for Vanzetti, even going as far as to pay his bail and the fees for a year-long legal process in full. That seems suspect. Like, perhaps Harry was driving and Vanzetti took the fall. Okay, so to the comments. Andrew Gammer: Harry really can't do any better for a campaign manager, huh? We got Lori Monroe again. I'll give it to Harold, even though he's been behaving kind of childish, complaining that his bobbleheads look nothing like him. I mean, fair, this bobblehead.
Who is that supposed to be?
This is supposed to be Harold.
Yeah.
But they're great, even if they don't look anything like you, Harold.
Yeah, you have way less hair than that, buddy.
Also, you have a beard, and this bobblehead doesn't have a beard. I think it says something about his character that he'd still advocate for Vanzetti, or he feels guilty and obligated. Nico Wallace: I think it's admirable that their friendship withstood 10 years in a traumatic event like that. Then we've got Cross's first year as mayor. Peyton Marks is commenting on this. This is seriously going way too easy on Cross. It's like nobody in this town can tell it like it is when it comes to him. She also commented on the social media post. So there's a social media post with polling numbers, and there's some comments back and forth, some from Judith, some from the community. So what else do we have?
Symbols?
Yeah. I mean, exclamation point is always a great symbol for a password.
What is it again? Family event?
No, it's children, symbol, work years, home.
So I honestly think we go with the symbols that this thing gives us. So for Anne, for example, it's an ampersand. We have a Harriet and
That's
Jude. So we know that symbol. Harriet and Jude. It's children what?
Well, and then they also say to substitute letters.
That's what I'm saying.
Or is it Jude and Harriet? Who's listed first in that thing?
It's Harriet and then Jude. So I think it's H at symbol. But for the Harriet, for the I, it's an exclamation point. And for the E, it's a 3. So there's that. Pretty, I just say we go off of what they give us, because other than that, we're grabbing straws here.
11, 13.
Okay, try it. Try that one. Yeah, that could be good.
Oh, dang, we got it first.
No hint.
First try. Woo, woo. Okay, so she's in. That was the right password. Thank you. I knew you could help. Let's see what we've got here. Campaign and event logistics, lunch receipts, nothing about Ashley. This could be something. She sent a screenshot. Oh, calling in my favor. Cal, I need to log into the database. I need to do some more research. Hope things are well at the station. Judith. And then looks like Cal got back. I don't know, Judith, that's a big ask. Oh, and then Judith says, just do it.
Oof.
All I'll be doing is looking at traffic patterns and some persons of interest, confirming some background checks, security for the candidate. I don't want another person getting as close to Harold as that last shady car wash guy did. I'll feel much better knowing I did the checks myself. No one wants anyone to get hurt, right? Because that little mistake could have been a disaster for the department. Cal comes back. You know we had nothing to do with that, but I hear you. Anything for the safety of our future leadership. Username is capital F, last name. For the password, place the candidates on last Friday's location, connect the dots, password is at the middle. What? And Judith says, you do love to not share passwords over email, don't you? That's just good security. Thanks. When this is all over, your commitment to Harold's safety will be remembered. Judith. Okay, username is, I'm assuming first initial last name?
Yes.
Password, place the candidates on last Friday's locations. So does that say in here? Every other Friday, fish fries. Harry's got every second Friday every month. But I guess this is his only Friday location.
Is this only concerning Harry?
So it says place the candidates on last Friday's locations, connect the dots, passwords at the middle. So for Harry, his Friday location is Acorn Heights. Where's Acorn Heights? Okay. TFC's Friday location is St. Barbara's. Where is that? So what's in the middle?
So it's either Blythe Bistro.
That's a weird password.
Or the Western Winds Cafe and Oddity Shop.
That's too long of a...
I think it's Blythe.
So it looks like Judith still has access to the police evidence database. Very unethical of her. So we figured out, if you figure out Judith's password to the CCPD's database, we can get our hands on all kinds of evidence. Send me the password to the police database as soon as you figure it out.
Do we still use the symbols though? Or no, I guess not. Maybe just type it regularly without the symbols.
Okay, it was just Blythe Bistro. You're a genius. Tell us something we don't know. Time to see what the cops have got on Ashley's case. Ooh, lots of useful stuff in here. The police could have done more with this. Should have done more. Here's the preview. Okay, evidence note. So this is a note from Reggie. Apparently this note was found in Ashley's pocket. So a note from Reggie was found in her pocket when they found her. If Ashley was interested in the country club, that means we should be too. I'm going to poke around there and hopefully collect some evidence. I'll send you everything we've got. Once I've got enough that seems worthwhile, I'm also gonna write a little update on Ashley's blog, so watch this space. Expect more from me via snail mail soon. Until then, thanks, Detective. You're welcome.
No problem.
So this update on Ashley's blog. Ashley Mendoza's life may have been ended, but her story hasn't. I have reason to believe her murder is connected to her investigation to the mayoral campaigns. I will find her killer. They will not get away with this. Whoever killed Ashley failed to take two important things into account when they left her body in the bathroom like a piece of garbage. One, Ashley wasn't the only one interested in the truth. And two, citizens of Copper Cliffs won't sit back and let senseless brutality against good people go unavenged. Stay tuned. It's going to get more interesting from here. All right, well, there you have it. Stay tuned. Can't miss the next episode with us, but that's this episode. We broke into some emails, we got into some databases, we met some characters. I'm going to go through more of this and add some more notes to our slides, add some screenshots, and then we'll recap next episode, kind of who everybody is that we know so far. I mean, it's not Judith, right? Because that would be too easy.
Yeah.
There's someone else. Also, I'm pretty sure that Harold Richards is guilty in that crash situation.
Yes, I think that's pretty obvious. Okay, that's it.
But you never know. You never know. So stay tuned. Don't miss our next episode as we solve through this season. Do you think I'm a better detective now because I'm pregnant and I've technically got two brains?
I think so.
That's why this was so easy this time. Watch us get a bunch of frickin' ciphers and clues next time that we can't decode.
Yeah.
Look like real idiots. All right, but don't miss it because either way, it's gonna be fun, right? And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you like this video, like this video. If you didn't like this video, like this video. And subscribe. And if you've missed it, we do have Hunt a Killer last season, Mallory Rock. I'll link that right up here for you if you want to go watch through those episodes. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.